So it's not often that we review cars that are so good on the road as well as so good off-road as well. And look, speaking of off-road, look at the surrounding. It is absolutely packed with snow. And what do we have next to us? It is a Land Rover Range Rover Sport SVR. This is a supercharged 5-liter V8 under the hood. It is finished in this beautiful black metallic color, and it just looks absolutely epic. It's a car that I've been wanting to check out for a really long time because I have been quite obsessed with the SVR in the past. And finally, you know, thank God we got it out today, and look at this spec. And of course, we got this car from Motor Werks of Barrington, particularly from Ali Nauraiz at Motor Werks of Infiniti here in the Barrington area. And their dealership is just, you know, absolutely, it's like going to a museum, you know, when you go inside. But the cool thing is you can actually buy all the cars. You don't just have to look at them and go home and not buy them. You can actually go and buy them, and they are really nice. So go check out your Infiniti products from Ali Nauraiz, part of Motor Werks Auto Group. Anyways, checking out this car, look at the design of this thing. Part of Land Rover's lineup is this Sport right under the full-size Range Rover. Now the Range Rover has that classic design that it's had for many years. This is like a little shortened, more stubby version of the same thing. And what's really cool is that this car with its 5-liter supercharged V8 now makes 575 horsepower. This particular one, this is a 2017 spec, so it makes 550 horsepower and 502 pound-feet of torque. And it weighs about almost 5,100 pounds. It's all-wheel drive, of course. Humongous brakes, look at them. They look absolutely beautiful, and they are Brembo brakes. Packed right behind these shiny, really big, very sporty looking wheels. I mean, they're not too subtle because they are shiny and nice and glossy. So, but what I love right now is the way it's sitting right now with, you know, like dirt on it and stuff. It just looks very off-roadish. We can't really take this car off-roading over here. There's not really any space to just go ahead and climb up on these piles of snow. But what we can show you is all the interior features and how it drives out on the road with this incredibly loud exhaust as well. Inside it's nice and toned down, but outside it is one of the loudest cars that you can buy. And I believe for the 2021 model year, because of European regulations, they have to kind of limit the exhaust sound a little bit. But that's just, you know, what we have to deal with these days in terms of these regulations. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out the exhaust sound first before we get on to like the infotainment stuff. Okay, opening this humongous door, stepping inside, you do have these beautiful sport seats, and of course it says SVR on them. They are gorgeous looking seats. Kind of reminds me of old BMW seats, you know, maybe from 2015, that type of generation. The seats that you get in the 2021 model year are quite a bit different than this. They have a more simple design, but this, I just love the way they hug you in place. It's very nice, and just the leather work in the interior is so smooth. The way they craft these things and make them so nice and soft to the touch, as well as, you know, smell so good inside. Like, this car smells absolutely fantastic because of this leather. This particular one has 25,000 miles almost, so it's been driven around and stuff, but you still have that beautiful leather classic smell that you get inside the car. Anyways, let's go ahead and start it up. And as you can see, sitting inside here, it's not nearly as loud as it is on the outside, but as soon as we step outside, you guys are just gonna absolutely lose it. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And this is the exact same engine that you find in the Jaguar F-Type SVR. So you're basically driving nearly a supercar engine inside this car. It's totally a Lamborghini Urus competitor, a Bentayga competitor. It's really mind-blowing what this car is. Regardless of any of these features or anything, it's all your preference. A lot of people like a bunch of screen type of stuff and gadgets and stuff, but regardless of that, anybody who likes this car or has been in it can agree that the sound and just everything, the way it connects to the driver, is like a sports sedan, but you're sitting up top and you can off-road this thing. And that's coming from me, someone who's not really big into SUVs at all, but it's something that's absolutely fantastic. And the way you're sitting in here, these seats make you feel so comfortable and cozy. You do have a bunch of different settings for your drive modes. I mean, you can click auto and it'll do everything for you, or if we want to make our own custom settings, this is where it usually says general program selected in the gauge cluster. Then if we move one down, it's on dynamic. This is Jaguar's and Land Rover's sportiest setting. And then if we go to the right, we got our grass and gravel and snow. So if we go one more to the right, it goes to Mud-Ruts, and that's the program's name. It's very nice and unique the way these guys do it. And then that is your control for your differentials and stuff. Quite a proper off-roading mode. Then you also have sand. Then you go another one down, and you do have your, active rock crawl and stuff, where you, if you're going really off-roading and you're at some angles, that'll help with that. A bunch of off-roading settings. But you also do have the HTC control over here as well. Tracking control off. Here's the exhaust sound button. If you turn this on, then the valves open up and it sounds absolutely fantastic. You can lower and raise the car. Right now it's going to get lowered as we speak. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to sit behind myself, behind these really, really big bucket seats. And what's cool is that, honestly, it's not too cramped, but I did realize when I first sat in this car at the auto show a few years ago that it is quite tight for someone like me. But it's still doable. Mainly the thing is the way the seats are designed, they have a lot of width as well, on the sides. But still, I mean, for short trips, it's not a problem. And the good thing is that the headroom isn't a big problem, which is something, perhaps the biggest problem for someone of, or above 6 feet in these types of cars. But it is a nice and sporty car, so I don't mind that too much. And hauling anybody under 6 feet shouldn't be a problem basically at all. So what's really cool about this car is that it has so much power, but it's so hidden when we're out in places like this with other cars and other SUVs. It's absolutely invisible, almost. Some features still in the front make it pretty nice and bulky and bulbous, which I really like. And also the wheels help it a lot. But you shall now see how fast this car is out on the open road. So now we are driving the Sport SVR. And the first thing that I notice is the fact that this is seriously one of the best suspensions I've ever experienced in an SUV. And the reason for that is because the fact that it's soft, but you can feel the bumps, but it's not in an uncomfortable way. Even some of the biggest bumps don't feel that big. They all feel very, very easy for the car to handle. One of the things that I've heard before reviewing this car a lot is the body control. And you could just feel how relaxed it is, Very, very different feeling than the Bentayga. Oof. 550 horsepower. The 21 model year gives you 25 more horsepower if you want those 25, or else you can, get one of these used. But I would personally recommend, based on their history of, reliability issues, you would definitely want to lease this car brand new, and they should give you a pretty good deal, especially right now during, the beginning of the year type of sales. The head-up display isn't the best. I could really tell, the quality of it isn't really that good right now. But then when you floor it, you forget about all that. It is absolutely brutal and absolutely violent in its feel. But it's so luxurious at the same time. The features, the leather work, that type of stuff absolutely makes you joyous all the time in this car. You're always happy at whatever this car is doing. Oof. Amazing. The sound is just on another level, The throttle does get a little sharper in this dynamic mode, which is good. This is a car that I could genuinely, if somebody's looking for a daily driver, they want a car that's fast and fun and loud, but you could also turn the exhaust off and have these comfortable leather seats. This is genuinely one of the competitors that you should have in that, your competition, or whichever comparison you're making. You could compare this with a BMW M5 or an E63 or all the other cars, even whatever the car is that you want for your daily driver. This is absolutely fit for that job. And even in dynamic, the suspension is not that firm. And then when you're just cruising, I love that exhaust burble. It just has the right amount of exhaust for the road. We were just talking about this in the Bentley Flying Spur video, that the fact that some cars are so loud on the road, and they have so many vibrations and things that it's kind of hard to pay attention to the other things. That is an incredible sound. And a few times when I've heard this car in the past, driving along some road or something, just the exhaust, the vibe it gives you is absolutely fantastic. Oh, beautiful. Oh. So we still have this thing in dynamic, and if we use our paddle shifters, immediately switches and kicks down. Oh, that is just, And the response is so fast. This is an 8-speed automatic, and it has a beautiful response. Love that about this car. Amazing. It is such an exotic feeling experience. Now imagine this thing in, you know, the Jaguar F-Type SVR. You're low to the ground, you're enjoying that, but that is more of like a weekend car. This, you could drive this every single day and be so comfortable in it, you know? Wow, the shifts, they give you a little bit of a kick, but they're still not that rough, you know? And it might take me a bit of time to get used to the way the steering feels in this car. Even though it's all this, you know, it's soft still, it has a little bit more of a darty type of feel I'm noticing, especially in dynamic. The whole car feels a little, you know, anxious to get going. Wow. That is really nice. The sound is, I can't stop talking about the sound. It's one of the best things about this car. And it is soft to rev match when it downshifts. Wow. So, overall, the time with this Range Rover Sport SVR has been absolutely insane. Minor complaints, let me go over those first so we can talk about all the good things after that. The minor complaints are the closing sound isn't the most, you know, satisfying. It has a bit of a rattle. Reliability issues are really the biggest downside of these Land Rover products, but hopefully they'll get better and better. But the positives are just blowing everything else out of the water. 550 horsepower from this particular one. Now you can get 575. 502 pound-feet of torque in this one. 5-liter supercharged V8. Beautiful. And compared with the luxurious cabin feel, the leather, the smells, the beautiful, it's just an absolutely fantastic package. Once again, special thanks to Ali Nauraiz at Motor Werks of Infiniti, part of Motor Werks Auto Group here in Barrington, for providing this vehicle for review. It's been an absolutely fantastic joyride. Thank God we finally got to test this SVR. It's really been a long wait, but it's been absolutely worth it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Auto Group, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey guys, my name's Ryan over at Motor Werks of Barrington. If you're interested in this beautiful SVR, give me a call. My link's in the description.